Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, thespians, bootlicker shills, serfs, peasants, death slaves. Alright, enough of that silliness. That was fun. But I'm back to a straight topic, so I hope all my comedy fans out there will indulge me. But today, I would like to return to the airwaves and talk about something that's really, really important. Fukushima. And I know it's off the radar in American mainstream press and has been for well over most of this year after the accident happened, the tsunami and the earthquake, and the Japanese nuclear reactors at Fukushima. Of course, first there was problems at 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. Now there's talk about problems in reactor 6. And, of course, they lied and kicked and screamed the whole way, Japanese government and TEPCO, the Japanese energy company that runs the nuclear reactors. And it's been a debacle from day one, and kind of reminds me of how things are handled in this country. So they learn well from their masters. So anyway, so this is going to be a two-part discussion. The first part is just how serious Fukushima is. First of all, you need to know that there's speculation that there's 24 to 85 times the amount of nuclear fuel that there was at Chernobyl. In Chernobyl, there was 180 tons of spent fuel, nuclear fuel in 1986, and 3 Mile Island, there was only 30 tons in 1979. Whereas at Fukushima, there was last registration, there was 1,760 tons, plus a fair amount that was transferred there from elsewhere. So reportedly, there's 4,277 tons of spent nuclear fuel at Fukushima, which is apparently exposed right now. Reactor 4, the spent fuel rods with the water are apparently melting through, and this will be a disaster of epic proportions. So, and this is in addition to all the other factors of this that are heinous beyond belief, a tragedy of truly epic proportions. First, we have the contaminated radioactive water that's pouring off the coast of Japan, and there's satellite pictures of that are quite disturbing. And then recently some more pictures of radiated air that is emanating from Japan are now visible as well. So both the air and the seawater drifting across the Pacific towards the west coast of the United States is laden with radiation. There's radioactive kelp off the coast of California. We have radioactive debris washing up on the west coast of the United States right now. So this is beyond Japan, and that's one of the main things I want to point out here is because there's a lot of Americans that don't seem to care about this, but trust me, it cares about you. And just like austerity and economic collapse, Japan's radioactivity is coming here. So there's another article that is attached to this story about soil in Tokyo would be considered nuclear waste in the United States. So they've raised the acceptable level of radiation in Japan to such a high level that they're testing soil now that if it was in the United States, it would be encased in cement and buried for 1,000 years. And they're also starting a program to burn radioactive debris. Apparently somewhere between 25,000 and 500,000 tons of radioactive debris will be burned. And this process will be carried on through March of 2014. So 2 more years. And it doesn't destroy the radiation, it only spreads it. So this radiation is going to be around for a long time to come. And the latest story that's coming out now is rumors that they are going to evacuate 40 million people in Japan. I don't know if this is true or not. But anyway, so that's the first part of my discussion. I know I'm always talking about fear-mongering, and I don't want to be part of fear-mongering, but once again, here's something that people should be truly concerned about. This is a story that's completely unreported in the U.S., and it's the story of our time, and we'll look back on it as such, even in spite of everything else that is going on. So anyway, the second part of my presentation is how the government and the corporations in Japan have handled the situation, and I think it illuminates something that should be obvious to everyone, that the populations are expendable. There's a lot of people that I know who are naive enough to believe that if terrible things happen, the government will warn them and help them prepare, and that is simply not the case. The government will hide these things from you, as they do in Japan. And in Japan's case, there's tens of millions of people who are exposed to certainly dangerous levels of radiation, and they will continue to be living in dangerous levels of radiation, breathing radiated air, drinking radiated water, and eating radiated food. And I can guarantee you that most of the government people in Japan and most of the people who work for TEPCO and all the other major financial corporations and executives and the 1% in Japan, they've all moved their families overseas already a year ago. All their families, all their friends, anybody who matters to them is no longer in Japan. And that should tell you something right there. They're all gone. They're going to leave the people there to suffer the consequences of their decisions, just like any other government in the world would do, will do, and is doing.